Okay, so I am interested. How has living through the COVID-19 pandemic, we're going to talk about it today in this episode. Hi there, beautiful people, and welcome back to Modern Woman. Today, I'm joined by my wonderful housemates, Anita and Katrina, and we're going to talk about what it's been like living through COVID as roommates, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Spoiler, it's not really been any ugly. So that you can come out of it stronger and better. I think that we are a good group of people to talk about this with because we've had some interesting stuff that we've worked through, things that you would never think you would need to have a conversation about. But first, I'd like to start off with saying, I think that we're handling it, that we're walking through it pretty well. What would you guys say?
I think extraordinary well because we all come from different backgrounds, so it could have been explosive.
Yeah.
But I think we've been handling it very well.
Me too.
Yeah, we're also different ages. We're different, like, in different seasons of our lives. Like,
True that.
we're pretty much as different as you can get. So, like, if we can survive, anybody can survive.
Anybody can survive. Yes. So what I wanted each of us to do is just to share our tip on what we would recommend for maintaining a good relationship with your roommates through a situation like this. And honestly, I think this would apply even if there wasn't a global pandemic. You know, like
True.
Whenever you are learning how to do life in close quarters with people, there's a lot to learn and grow through. So you can apply this to COVID, but outside of the pandemic or some kind of crazy life circumstance, I hope that you would find these useful because we have. When you're the person who's like responsible for that household, the tip for me or from me is to really consider making decisions about what's gonna matter and be good for the whole house in the long run. And you kind of have to think about things like, how are we gonna clean? I mean, I'm already pretty serious about my carpets because I'm always thinking about the resale value. So we've had to think about stuff like, you know, how often am I going to vacuum the carpets or taking out trash more regularly? But with the pandemic, we've had to think about cleaning supplies. And it was really important for me to not go so far off the deep end or go so strict that it made it a non-enjoyable living environment, but at the same time to kind of make the tough call, really think about setting things in place that are going to be good for everybody for the long run, but then also know that you set the atmosphere. So if you're broody or withdrawn or scared and not honest and open, it's going to affect the whole atmosphere of the house. I really try to make sure we do fun stuff, like more so than we normally would. Like, we're gonna celebrate Easter together. Let's do a girls' night. Let's have a sleepover, even though we live together. So anyway, I think that's my tip. What do you guys think?
I would say communication is very key. Now that can definitely apply to any situation, but especially with roommates. For example, we all got together. We felt the need to talk about COVID-19 because we had different backgrounds. Family members had different belief systems about it, so we would approach it slightly differently. So I think when we came together and talked about how we felt, how it was affecting us, and what we felt would make it safe for our environment, I think when we talked about that, we got on more of the same page and were able to know what to expect, so that it wouldn't offend one another or offend someone else. Also, so that just the other roommate can know that you do care.
Yeah.
Then you understand, yes, I do love you, I do care for your life as well. I didn't know this was important to you, so now that I know it's important, I'm going to do this so that you know that I do care and I care about the whole household.
Yeah, agreed. And it's not always easy to have that conversation, but it's necessary.
Yes.
It pays off.
I would definitely say communication is for sure the biggest part. I think for me, the hard transition was that I really just recently moved out of my parents' house just about a year ago, and so I was consistently going to their house, spending time with them. So to suddenly like not do that at all was kind of like a shock to me. And so at first I was oddly enough, I was very withdrawn because I felt lonely, even though I was with people. I was like, I'm not with my family at all, and I feel just disconnected. And so at first I just had to work through like, number one, the fact that this was actually happening, that this wasn't a movie, that this was reality. Like I was like, this feels so fake, this can't be real. But then once I kind of accepted it, it became like, okay, what do I do with myself? And I think the hardest part at first was feeling okay with not being okay. Like I felt a lot of pressure, and no one put it on me, it was just myself. I was like, I should be fine, I should be fine, I should be able to handle this, I should be, doing all the stuff people online are doing, like cleaning their closets and their rooms,
everybody does that every day.
Right? So I would say like developing some kind of routine, and that doesn't mean strict, like from this time to this time, this time to this time, but a matter of every day I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna get dressed, I'm gonna make my bed, like whatever it is you need to do. That helped me kind of maintain some semblance of normality, is that a word? I think it's a word. But then when it came to like feeling kind of disconnected, actually Alicia gave me the idea. I had built like a workspace in my room and had it all set up. So I would just spend the entire day in my room or outside like on the porch area. And at one point Alicia was like, why don't you just come sit out here with us and work out here? And once I started doing that, that really helped me adjust, because I think even though I liked being by myself, I've always been more introverted in that regard. I like to be alone. I realized that I was too much alone, and then I would get stuck in a habit, and even though I wasn't enjoying myself or I would be having a rough time, I had a tendency to just kind of revert to, I don't want to bother anyone, I don't want to make, I don't want to need Alicia to be upset. And so once I transitioned to, instead of being like, let me not bother them, and it became, these are the only people I get to see right now. So let me take advantage of that fact. And then now I feel like I've adjusted a lot more.
That's a good point. I think that it could be easy to feel isolated. And the thing too, I mean, with you going through that, it occurred to me pretty early on. Well, Anita and I both had experiences where we went off to college away from home. Mm-hmm. So we had gotten very used to not seeing our families for extended periods of time. Like I went to school in South Carolina, your family was in Ohio, you went to school in Virginia, now we're in Georgia, so we don't, and my siblings all went off, and your growing up experience was different, and then you left home working to another place to live with roommates. And so that really helped me have grace for you. Not that I didn't have grace for you, but to understand where you were so that I could, communicate with you through it.
I want to talk about that with the compassion point, because Alicia was the first one in the house from the job. And I really, at the time, I never thought it was fake.
You mean like choosing to work from home?
Yes.
Yeah.
Choosing to work from home. Because we work at the same company. So that makes it even better being at home. But you came home first and was planted like a tree.
Since March 13th. Or 12th. Since March 12th.
And I was like, no, I don't really want to. I hated working from home anyway, because the computer, I had a smaller laptop. They weren't giving up the computer, so I was like, I don't really want to work from home. And I remember walking down the hallway with our new COO, and he was just talking about, hey, are you going home? And I was like, well, I really don't want to. But what came in my mind was, I was like, but I think Alicia would feel safer if I came home. Now, that was my first thought. So it wasn't even about, oh, let me stay safe from COVID-19 myself. My first thought was, hey, I think Alicia would feel more comfortable because she does have some preconditions, and it would be more susceptible if I'm going in and out. And he was like, well, just take some extra precautions and come to work. I'm coming to work. I was like, no, I don't know. I was like, if you all give us the choice, I probably will go home, even though I don't want to. I really did not want to at the time. But I will say, once I got set up and I was able to bring in the equipment I needed, honestly, I never go out. They go out.
It's true.
More than once I got set up, I was like, I'm good. I haven't driven anywhere. I haven't gone anywhere but outside. I've never gone to since March.
You're right.
I have not gone anywhere, but I'm really grateful that Alicia was like, I think it's more serious, guys. I'm staying in, and then we all kind of fell in slowly but surely, but it really was out of consideration at first for how you were feeling.
And I appreciated that because I didn't have to I hadn't intended to, but I knew if I needed to, I would put down, like, I'm going to lay down the law, but I didn't have to. And that made it, just like each of us serving each other basically has made it much better than it would have been.
Yeah.
I have made accommodations in the house. There are, if you can't tell, and maybe you can, maybe you can't, I love to decorate. And I love to have my house just so. And not perfectly clean, but put together in a way where I feel like I'm at rest. Home is the place where I want to feel like I'm coming into a restful retreat all of the time. This is my sanctuary, and I want it to be like when you walk into the beautiful, like the nice hotel room and everything's clean and in its place, you're like, great. Now, yeah, you can't have that all the time. I'm sure when I have kids, I will have to make it see.
Yeah.
Listen, however, since we all have grown adults living at home, I'm like, I like that.
Yeah.
And I also don't like clutter. But I had to make some concessions. If we're all going to be at home, I'm going to have to be okay with the dishes taking longer to get washed because we're working. Like, we're all three working at home. We have a desk set up, 2 desks set up in the living room area so that we can both work with the setup that we need for our jobs, that Nita and I, for our jobs. So my living room's a little bit more crowded. I had to buy more stuff. Like, I provide the cleaning supplies, different kinds of supplies. There are other things that actually they would feel more strongly about regarding cleaning than I did in particular. But there's some give and take too. So part of it is us serving one another, loving each other, and us laying down. Basically, it comes down to laying down your rights for the sake of someone else. I will always say preserve the relationship at all costs. Preserve the relationship, and it's going to be better. And also, I guess my last point, this is like way more than 3 tips, but I'm loving it, is keep having conversations. At each juncture with this crazy situation, we talked again, and we are kind of on the same page now, but here soon, like, am I going to go visit my parents? And what will that look like? We even had to talk through, man, if our jobs require us to go into work, what are we going to do? We have friends whose spouses have to go to work, and their spouse comes in, has to leave their clothes at the door, immediately take a shower before they touch or hug anybody. I've seen like YouTube videos about that from nurses and doctors and such. So love, honor, and serve one another. As the person who runs the household, or people who run the household, do what it takes to preserve the atmosphere, keep communicating, and find ways to make it fun. Thank you, ladies, for being here with me today. It's been a fantastic conversation. So if you guys want to see more videos with all 3 of us, let me know. Maybe there's some other things we can talk about regarding roommate housing situation. You will see them pop up in other videos for sure. I have ideas. So in the comments, share what are some things that you've learned walking through this pandemic, living in close quarters with people, or even living on your own. If you're living solo, tell us in the comments, what have you experienced? I really want to hear from you about it. If you've liked this video, if you've learned something from it, please like it. And subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing in community together. We have some awesome content coming your way, and I will see you in the next video.